Tupac Shakur. A very popular name these days in the news, especially with the recent news that there was a raid on a house in Henderson, which I guess belonged to the uncle of the alleged guy who shot him. So there's a lot going on in regards to that. That guy has claimed, I guess that guy, I haven't looked into it too deeply. I've been trying to stand back from it for a bit. I guess that guy's what's his name? Orlando Anderson, I think it is. And it's his uncle's house that they raided. Where are we, like 20 years later? Almost 30. 27 years later. I'm like, how many years? Do math. Anyways, so they've, raided the house, found, I don't know if they've found some things or not, but anyways, I don't know if it matters as far as that's concerned. And so, I mean, you raid somebody's house 27 years after and you expect there to be anything there? Like, come on. I don't know about that, but anyways. Tupac Shakur, world famous rapper, born in Harlem, and to his mother, who was a Black Panther. She got out of the Panthers, and he lived a very poor life in Harlem, and eventually did move to Baltimore. Went to the Baltimore School for the Arts, which he really thoroughly enjoyed. He enjoyed acting as well as rap. So his mother was making some bad decisions in regards to her relationships, as well as what she ingested, also known as crack. And so she was making some bad decisions. And when he was like 17 in like what was it? Because he was born in 71, I think. Yeah, he was born in 71, I think. I didn't look up his birthday, which is unlike me. I should have done that. But anyways, 1988, he moved over to California. Started up a little bit on his rap journey and everything. His mother did end up joining him in California eventually. And he starts going through his process. He was known as the guy who was very, real, very authentic, very true. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Oh, his mother named him Tupac after a South American revolutionary, which means shining serpent. Interesting. The serpent refers to the Kundalini, by the way. Because it's the serpent that goes up through you, right? So he was very successful. Some people called him Black Jesus and everything. He was very much about, I was in a poor space, and because of the choices I made, I pulled myself out of that. He was very empowering when it came to that stuff, and people loved it. Now, of course, he was in, competition with other people like, Puff Daddy. What was it? Biggie Smalls and whatnot, kind of pissing people off, sure, that kind of thing. I don't know, allegedly pissing people off. I don't know how much music actually makes people mad. I don't know. Sure, it might make a small population mad, but does it actually make them mad? Like, there's like claims that like the cops were mad and everything at him, and I'm just like, in my experience with cops, and I know a lot of cops, I have friends who are cops. In my experience with the cops, they don't give a shit. They don't care. They do not care. So, anyway, so he decided to go to Las Vegas to help celebrate his and his cousin's birthday, because they were in the same month. Brought his girlfriend with him and everything. They go to Vegas, and he was urged to go to Vegas by his manager, Suge Knight. Now, Suge Knight is a big player in this whole thing. Suge Knight is was the owner and operator of Death Row Records, and Suge was the one that pushed him to go to Las Vegas to go to this boxing match when Tupac actually didn't want to go. When you look at the details of the case, you can see where Tupac's just like, I don't really want to. One of those things. Didn't really want to. And even that night when they did get to Las Vegas, He had told his cousin and his girlfriend, please, please stay here. Do not come with us. Do not come with us. Like, the girl said something about it's going to be a boys' night or something like that. I don't know. To me, that's like a gut level intuition that something's happening. Because the thing is, there's a couple of things that Tupac did that fateful day when he passed away, September 7th, 1996. No, excuse me. He didn't pass away that day, but when he was shot, September 7th, 1996. And he even, like, when he was getting into the car to go to the club after being at Suge Knight's mansion for a few minutes to discuss things or something like that, he asked his bodyguard to drive the other car. And it was just him and Suge Knight in the car that was in front, being followed by his, I think his name was Frank White, was his bodyguard, and the other members of the group. Of course, you know, they come to a stop at a stoplight. There's a white Cadillac that pulls up, reaches out, pulls the trigger. Pulls the trigger multiple times from what I understand, like 5 times. And then speeds off. One thing I want to note, and I don't know if this is actually something that has been addressed or not, but his bodyguard's right there behind him. Why didn't he get the license plate? Now, maybe he's just in shock. Now, I understand that. But I don't know. But if I were, you know, somebody who's watching something, I want that license plate number. That's what I want. Because I want to get the person who caused the whole thing. Anyways, maybe that's one thing. That's one little piece that I find just like, what kind of bodyguard is that? You know, that's kind of the way I look at it. Maybe that's been addressed. And so I just haven't seen it. That's possible. So I want to state in this is just, you know, this tarot reading to find out some more details in regards to the death of Tupac. I'm going to be asking some questions. This is just entertainment only. All parties are innocent until proven guilty if they're still alive. So there's multiple things in here that make me question stuff. So let's get started. All right. So thank you, Spirit, for being here. Thank you for helping me. I do appreciate you. Let's talk about Tupac Shakur. I want to ask questions just because he wanted to be released from... He didn't want to renew his contract with Death Row Records. And Suge Knight knew this at the time. Suge Knight knew this. So Suge Knight knew that he was going to be leaving Death Row Records. He didn't want to renew it. Things were moving well for Tupac. Tupac's hesitancy is a question for me, though, as far as like hesitancy regarding going to Vegas with Suge Knight and the whole group. I find that puzzling. So let's ask some questions in regards to what Tupac knew, because he probably knew something. Sometimes these people know what's going on. They know that there's something being said behind the scenes. Let's roll with it. Spirit, how was Tupac's relationship with Suge Knight just prior to the trip to Las Vegas, please? How is Suge Knight's relationship with Suge Knight just prior to the trip to Las Vegas on September 7th, please? We've got Strength, 9 of Cups, okay. Knight of Wands, okay. Okay, so we've got Strength, Nine of Cups, Knight of Wands, 5 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, next to the 7 of Swords. This is interesting to me. Like this deck, like this 3 of Wands is really, really insidious looking in this deck. And to have that come out to next to the Seven of Swords, which implies that there's something hidden. Something was hidden between the two of them. There was some, but there does show there's some, I think that this Five of Pentacles has to do with Tupac moving on, not renewing his contract, and that he knows this. And so just because we've got Knight of Wands, just kind of like he's taking his creativity elsewhere, that kind of thing. But this Three of Wands and Seven of Swords, it's like it's like something is waiting in the wings that's unseen. But otherwise, on the surface, we've got Strength and Nine of Cups. Strength and Nine of Cups, which is actually pretty good. I mean, they liked what they did for each other as far as like the ego was concerned, you know, building up money and all that other stuff, making it look good, that kind of thing. And just generally emotionally happy with it. But there's something waiting in the wings. I want to know what that is. Tell me more about this Three of Wands and Seven of Swords, please. Tell me more about this Three of Wands and Seven of Swords. What is that? What was waiting in the wings that was unseen? What was waiting in the wings that was unseen, please? We've got the Page of Wands and the Chariot. Okay. Two of Wands, Page of Swords in the universe. Okay. You know what? It's not actually that it was unseen. It's that he was in denial. So I think Suge Knight was in denial in regards to Tupac leaving. He was in denial. That's what that is. This is telling me, so he's like, I've got this, you know, this idea with this Page of Wands here. I've got this idea that's being presented to me, the Chariot of someone running off, taking off and everything. And I don't know what to do about it. Two of Wands. I don't know what to do about it, but I'm trying to like stand back and trying to learn where they're at in regards to this reported ending. Universe, the World card. Okay. So to me, that says that Suge Knight still wanted the relationship. He was in denial that Tupac was leaving. I'm going to move this stuff over so I have space. He was in denial that he was going to go. I guess he felt like he was going to convince him. We've got Six of Wands on the bottom. Okay. Tell me why Tupac didn't want to go to Vegas. Let me back out of this. I don't want to get too deep into like personal stuff. It's not really important. I want it to be related to the case. And so, tell me if Tupac not wanting to go to Vegas has to do with him knowing that something was going to happen that night, something bad. Tell me. Did Tupac not want to go to Vegas because he knew what was coming? He knew that he was going to die that night. Something deep down inside him told him. Ooh. Two of Cups. Six of Wands. There's that Six of Wands again. Oh, okay. So he didn't want to go that night. We've got two of Cups, Six of Wands. He didn't want to go that night because he didn't want to be. He didn't want to have Suge Knight down his throat about leaving. He didn't want him like. It's kind of like Suge Knight was buttering him up. That's the best way I can put it. He was buttering him up. He's like, yeah, we're going to do all this stuff and we're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to treat you to this and this and this and this and then you're going to stay with the record, right? Kind of one of those things. Okay. So that's why he didn't want to go. He didn't feel like being like pressured by Suge Knight in regards to staying with the record group. Okay, now I've got something in my head going. We need to find out if there's somebody else involved in this decision. Suge Knight may have not known anything else that was happening. Can I use that deck? No. Okay, we're using this one then. Alright. I need to know if someone else was invested in Tupac's decision to leave. If someone was invested in Tupac's decision to either leave or stay with Death Row. Was there someone else other than Suge Knight invested in the decision for Tupac to leave Death Row Records? Was somebody else invested? Yes, we do. Yeah. With this, this is the Happy Squirrel card. This card is particular to like indie decks. This is an extra card that's not part of your traditional tarot. So the Happy Squirrel indicates somebody who's putting their nose into other people's business. Squirreling around, that kind of thing. So there was somebody else who was invested in him leaving. What did this person, what did this party want? Okay. What did this party want for Tupac as far as like, did they want him to leave? Did they want him to stay with Death Row? What do they want? Seven of Wands. They wanted to block him from leaving. They wanted to block him from leaving. Why? Why did this extra party want to block him? We have Three of Cups and we have Four of Cups. For the loss of really like joy and business in regards to this. So, okay. It seems to be kind of like celebration. Because what's coming up with this Three of Cups here, they're afraid of the loss of the cup. With this Four of Cups here. Loss of a cup of not friends. Somebody's cup to drink from. It's like somebody's cup to drink from. So it kind of sounds like money. Sounds like money. Now, Suge Knight had bailed Tupac out of jail. And he had like a $1.4 million bail price. He had bailed him out of jail. And signed Tupac on. Did that bail money oh my goodness. So we've got a 10 of Cups that came out. 10 of Cups flipped over. So my question was, did that bail money belong to Suge Knight that he paid to get him out of jail? And that answer is yes. The answer is yes. That money did belong to Suge Knight. It didn't belong to anybody else. Okay. What I'm searching for here is to see if there's any, like, I'm going to say hidden figures in the background. That's what I'm searching for. And if it comes out that there isn't one, great. Fantastic. Just because there's talk of like conspiracy theory that Suge Knight did the whole thing, you know, that kind of thing. But right here, what I am seeing is that Suge Knight was genuinely interested in keeping him for business. Genuinely interested. He used his own money or used the company's own money to bail him out and everything, and then started to build up the business and everything with him. That kind of thing. Because I want to see if this was just purely an accident or just one of those random things. Interesting. As I said, that if it's purely an accident, we've got Page of Cups and the Sun. It's almost like the universe saying, you wish that was the truth. You know, because like the Page of Cups is definitely a wish card. Like you wish, you dream, you daydream that that was the truth. You daydream that that's all that needed to come out. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Let's ask more questions. So there was a conversation that Tupac and Suge Knight had in his mansion in Las Vegas prior to moving on to go to like the club or something like that. They were going to go to the club. It was a long conversation. People had to wait a while. And I'm betting this is where Suge Knight was pleading his case. That's what I'm imagining. Spirit, can you confirm? Was that where Suge Knight was really pleading his final case? Can you confirm, please? What the conversation was about? The moon. They're saying that I can't find out what the conversation was about. Why? They're saying I can't find out. It's hidden. I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can get around this. Suge Knight needed to talk to, because a lot of times, okay, so the universe is kind of like a computer. There may be a block on some information, okay? Especially with high profile cases like this. There may be I'm going to say a block. Somebody put a block in or something like that, which does happen. But it is just like a computer, and you know what? There's people that can get around it if you ask the right questions. So that's where I'm trying to just go around it that way. So is there something that, I almost said Biggie needed to say. Is there something that Suge Knight needed to say? The Empress, Ten of Swords, Three of Wands. Oh. His safety was not guaranteed. Okay. He needed to tell him. So Suge Knight had, honestly, I do think that Suge Knight had Tupac's best interests at heart. However, he was associated with other groups. I feel like there's some sort of background, and this is where I've been searching for it, okay? There's some sort of background influence on Suge Knight, okay? And he needed to tell Tupac, your safety cannot be guaranteed if you leave. You'll always live a life of watching and waiting. So that is possible that that is what the conversation... Spirit, was that what the conversation was about? Let me see. We got the King of Cups. Yes, it was. King of Cups, Five of Pentacles. Yeah, it's in regards to that separation and the danger of it. Okay, and so how did Tupac feel about this? How did Tupac feel about this, please? The Chariot, he's still going anyways. Okay. Still going anyways. Oh, okay, one more. All right, and so when... Yeah. Okay. So what I was going to ask was, when the conversation ended, did Suge Knight have to report to somebody the results of that conversation? And with Seven of Swords coming up, which is again something hidden and underneath, slipped in, you know, under really sneaky kind of, I mean, this guy looks like he's being sneaky, right? Yeah, he reported to somebody on the sly that, yeah, it's, you know, I can't keep him. I can't keep him. Yeah, we just had the conversation at my house, my mansion, whatever. And I can't keep him. We're headed out. We're headed out for the evening. So now you've got this hidden group, whoever is backing up on this, knowing exactly where Tupac is coming from, potentially where he's going, so you can know where his path is. And they're able to follow. I need to know whoa. I need to know something deep down inside says that Tupac knew. Okay? Something deep down inside says that Tupac knew. He knew about other things. He stated it in his lyrics in his songs. He knew a bunch of other things. Note that, and this is the point that I want to make, is that Tupac was very much about fighting the system. And all you have to do is make your own choices and you can overcome it. Which is true. And it's very against the narrative, especially for people of color. That's being pushed today. There's a lot of this whole While it looks like these days that people of color are being supported, when you really look at everything, they are keeping them in a space of victimhood and not empowering them to make different choices. And so that's part of the narrative these days. And that is completely against what Tupac pushed. Tupac, he was actually a very kind person, despite, his persona, that he had out in front of people. Very kind person. He didn't live that thug life. He actually didn't. It was all a persona just to sell music, He was an actor. Remember, he liked acting at the Baltimore School of Arts. So, now this guy is actively going against the narrative, and there's too many people following him. Too many people. It's kind of like they wanted to keep him with the small record company, they wanted to keep him there. And not have him set up his own, or go with a bigger one. Because they didn't know if he set up his own how successful it would be. And they knew the trajectory for Death Row Records. They knew the trajectory. And they wanted to keep him in there. Keep him limited. And he didn't want that. He's like, no. Okay. So, it's pretty dark to me, but I don't think Suge Knight actively had anything to do with it. He did kind of on the sideways just because he was kind of forced to. There's so much corruption, especially in Hollywood and Hollyweird, so much corruption. I'm pretty sure that he was influenced by somebody who had power over him. Because it seems like they always are. Show me Tupac's mindset when he was leaving that mansion, please. Show me Tupac's mindset when he was leaving that mansion, please. 3 of Wands. The Chariot and Strength. It's interesting because, we've got that Chariot. He made that decision. Chariot, 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 chariot. All this talk of leaving. He's like, I'm fucking leaving. I'm leaving. And the thing is that this conversation, has this 3 of Wands in here. 3 of Wands, 10 of Swords, Empress, right? It's like you don't know what's coming for you. You'll be watching and waiting for your whole life. And the thing is, like, fine, fuck it. I'm going to watch and I'm going to wait with this 3 of Wands. I'm going to watch and wait, but I'm still freaking going. And he's, forcing his will on it. He's like, I'm still freaking going. Then fine, I'm going to do it. Because he was, infallible. That's what he believed he was. Okay. So when he asked his bodyguard to drive the other vehicle, did that have anything to do with what he felt like was coming on the drive over? 2 of Wands. Oh, that's interesting. It was a guess. It was a guess. Did he know? Did he know that Suge had made this phone call or whatever, contacted somebody? Did he know that Suge had made this phone call to whoever to tell them that he's insisting on no, he's leaving Death Row Records? Did he know? Did he know the call was made? Okay. I'm going to say he didn't know. He made a guess, though. He made a guess. Or maybe it was just damn luck. Pure luck. For Frank not to be in the car. Okay, so let's do this. So what was the mindset of the shooter? What was the mindset of the shooter, I was going to say, prior to the boxing match? 3 of Swords. Why? Queen of Wands. Yeah. I think the shooter was that Orlando Anderson. I do think so. I think that he was hired to do it. I think he was hired to do it. Empress. So there's a strong theme of a female who's leading the charge on this. Strong theme of a female. A very powerful female. Who's hidden? Seven of Swords. Again. Who's hidden? So, that Orlando Anderson, he ended up dying a couple years later. From another unrelated shooting. And what's interesting is that the Henderson home that was raided recently here was the uncle of that guy. The uncle knew that Orlando had shot him. He had said, yes, he did shoot him. He did do this. I don't know other specifics other than that. I haven't listened to anything that guy has said. There's a strong female. Who's the boss? Who is the female? Tell me more about this Empress female, Queen of Swords. Who is it? Tell me about this person. Ace of Pentacles. The one who provides the money. The one who brings in the money. Ace of Cups. Death. I don't know who this is. I don't know who it is. So I'm having a hard time asking questions to go further with that. So basically, to run this down here, Suge Knight really liked him. Really liked Tupac. Wanted to keep him with Death Row Records and everything like that. One, for his own business purposes. It was his business. Suge Knight was associated with another group of people run by this Empress chick. Whoever this is, who was invested in whether Tupac stayed. I don't know who that female is. So if there's some sort of female, she's hidden. I don't think you're going to be able to really find her in regards to the case itself. I really don't. But there was somebody that Orlando was talking to. Now, you're talking to a minion of a minion of a minion, right? When it comes to these corrupt type scenarios. This is like mafia kind of shit, right? Was this Empress based in the music industry? Ooh, almost. Was this Empress based in the music industry, please? Was this person in the music industry? Five of Cups and Two of Pentacles. No, not really. No, just someone heavily invested in it. I don't know who that is. Honestly, I don't. Someone heavily invested in it and controlled things in the background with choices and stuff like that with Two of Pentacles here. Death card. Making things happen, changing things to make sure that Ace of Cups and Ace of Pentacles occurs. Ace of Pentacles is very much a stable, secure, money-making machine. And also people being happy about it, emotionally happy and stuff like that. So I could totally see this person being involved in another record label. I don't know if they actually own it. But involved in another record label where it's a serious threat to somebody. It's a serious threat to one of his rivals. A serious threat. Serious threat to one of his rivals. God, I feel like there's so much more behind it. I'm like, I gotta just pull it out. I gotta pull it out. It's just welling to the surface. I just have to pull it out and make sense of it. what it is that I see is somebody who doesn't necessarily own another record company or something, but they are associated with one of his competitors. Is she associated with Biggie Smalls? We're going to ask that question, yeah. Okay. 4 of Wands, 8 of Wands, Prince of Wands, and 8 of Swords, and 8 of Wands, excuse me. Yeah, she is associated with Biggie Smalls. I don't know what label he was with. I don't know anything about that. There was some sort of beef between them, for sure. But Biggie was killed 7 months later. So this person was associated with Biggie, though. Suddenly, like, I had the feeling of, it's like, you guys are being children, I'm just going to take you all out. That's what I got. That's a weird feeling. Okay. We need to ask more questions about Biggie. Then. Whoa. Let's ask more questions about Biggie. Let's do it. Okay. I just had the question of, is this Biggie's wife? Particularly with the words that come out in that song, Hit 'Em Up. Is this Biggie's wife? Is this female Biggie's wife? The Lovers. Yes, it is. Wow, okay, so his wife. I don't know who Biggie's wife was, but. And what she had to do with anything. It's just a fucking song, you know what I mean? I keep him over there. Did Biggie's wife have to do with Biggie's death? Did Biggie's wife have to have anything to do with Biggie's death? Oh my goodness. No. 5 of Pentacles and death. Queen of Pentacles and the Fool. Okay. No, she had nothing to do with Biggie's death, though. She had to do with Tupac's, but not with Biggie's. She was separate from it. Blissfully separate. Honestly, it's starting to feel just more and more like a gang thing. Just a stupid rivalry thing. It's starting to feel more and more like that. Not like this hidden, mafia kind of thing. It's not like that. It's just a gang thing. Tupac had a beef with Biggie. I don't know what that beef was. And, he poked at the bear. He did poke at the bear. I'm not saying that should have... Yeah, we have 6 of Wands and Ace of Cups. He gloated that he messed around with his wife. He gloated, and so the thing is, I have a feeling that that's actually true. And for some reason, she wanted to keep Tupac with Death Row Records. Was anybody associated with Tupac associated with the death of Biggie, please? Anybody associated with Tupac having to do with the death of Biggie Smalls, please? 10 of Swords, no. No, okay, we got 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 5 of Cups, and the Sun. In fact, they were afraid that it would come out like that, but they had nothing to do with it. They had nothing to do with it. I'm betting that there's something else more having to do with that wife, the fact that she can coordinate something to go against Tupac because of some stupid song, whatever shit happened. Something tells me with this Queen of Pentacles and the Fool right here, she's just like, I'm blissfully unaware. This is plausible deniability right here. Plausible deniability. I don't know what you're talking about. Kind of one of those things. I feel like she was associated with something with Biggie Smalls, but she wasn't actively involved. Kind of one of those, well, if this happens, then yeah, you should do it. But don't tell me about it. Because she's his wife. You know, you want plausible deniability. So I think that it has to do with that. A lot of times you get these matriarchs that come in. I want to know who that chick is. Who is that chick? Let's find out. I don't know anything. And Biggie Smalls' wife. Faith Evans. She was a singer. A Gemini. Born June 10th. Okay, here we go. She was the first female artist to contract with Sean Puff Daddy Combs. Back in 1994. Okay. I was wondering where Puff Daddy was coming in on this. So, if you know anything about Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, whatever, he doesn't run with good groups. He just doesn't. He has been named in a number of lawsuits involving Epstein. And people, there's, a lot of conspiracy theories out there about it. But he has been named in these lawsuits. I've seen the paperwork. Having to do with children. And a lot of times people having to do with, children, look up the lyrics of Hit Me Up, talking about destroying their young. People who are known to do things like that for quote-unquote pizza are known to do bad things. Known to do bad things to protect themselves. They want their money. They have a very massive greed virus. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. It's amazing the maze that I had to go through to get it. So through Notorious B.I.G.'s wife, Faith Evans, she had something to do with Tupac's death. Tupac was a giant risk. Let me see here. Biggie Smalls and Puff Daddy. Let's see here. So yeah, like Biggie Smalls was even featured on one of Puff Daddy's, songs called Young G's back in 1998. A couple of other things too. They were friends. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, whatever. Boy, I'm kind of sad about that. I'm kind of sad about the whole thing, It's like somebody, I honestly think that Tupac was a good guy. I honestly think he was a good guy. Thing is that Sean Combs has been associated with a bad group of people who do bad magic, okay? They do bad magic, and that's why a lot of this has been hidden, because it's hidden from people. And like I mentioned earlier, you have to know what questions to ask to bypass the blocks that are on the information. So, what we have here, we have a case of somebody feeling threatened by Tupac. Be it, Biggie Smalls, or could be Puff Daddy, because Puff Daddy was named in Tupac's songs. He was razzing him. And so he was named, and he's just like, I'm coming for you. And Puff Daddy's like, no, you're not. So Puff Daddy wanted to see him stay with Death Row Records. Wanted to see him stay with Death Row Records because then it could be controlled. It can make sure that he goes nowhere with Death Row Records. Or at least stays minimal. And that Puff Daddy gets bigger, right? So he throws Faith Evans, who's obviously around, you know, Tupac and all them and everything. She's messing around. Who knows if she didn't mess around with Suge Knight? I don't know. But she's connected to Suge Knight in some way because there's this, you know, individual background, you know, sneak thing going on. And he called somebody associated with Faith Evans, if not her herself, saying, nope, he's refusing to stay. He's going to leave. And that basically pressed the go button for a hit. For a hit on Tupac. They hired an Orlando Anderson to do it. And wanted to leave it there. According to this. Because of course, you know, innocent until proven guilty, right? So, let's investigate this even further. Let's see how far we can take this. So what we have, Faith Evans being the wife of Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls dies 7 months later. I think it was 7 months, yeah. 7 months later from a shooting. And she's got this whole situation of, don't tell me about it. If this is happening, then don't tell me about it. Yeah. Four of Wands. She wanted to present the perfect, you know, marriage type situation with him. Wanted to present that. So, what is it that Biggie Smalls figured out? What is it that Biggie Smalls figured out that caused him to be taken out? What is it that he found out that had him shot? Okay, so we've got the Magician and the Ten of Cups. We've got the person behind the curtain, that's the Magician, and who's creating his happiness. He found out who did it. Who is the creator in his life of his money? He found out who the man behind the curtain was. And that's somebody associated with Puff Daddy, if not Puff Daddy himself. This makes me so sad. It makes me really sad. There's a lot of sadness. A lot of sadness, actually. So when Orlando Anderson was shot, they say it was unrelated. This is going long. I'll try to edit out some blank spots. I'll try to keep it short. We got Two of Wands for the answer to whether Orlando Anderson's shooting had anything to do. I don't think so, but they were watching. They were watching. Just kind of keeping an eye on that guy. Because, you know, he didn't like doing what he did. They were keeping an eye on that guy. Okay, so let's ask another question here. Let's go somewhere else with this. When I was watching the thing on Tupac and his wounds and everything like that, I don't know where his gun wounds were, as far as like the bullet wounds. I don't know where they were. A lot of bullet wounds are survivable, as long as they're not hollow points. As long as they're not hollow points. I don't even know what was used. And where the shots were on him. I tried to briefly look that up. It doesn't seem to be ready information. Let's see. Gun used in Tupac's. What gun was Tupac shot by? Getting all this fucking stuff about the news recently and everything. And I don't care about the news recently. Tell me about what we know. It's a convoy of like 10 cars. Maybe. Oh, so when they pulled out the stuff out of that one house here recently, they removed bullet cartridges, computers, pot. Ugh. A lot of people say that he's like faked his death and shit. So they were .40 caliber bullets pulled from Keefe's residence this week. Will be tested with a definite consideration on whether they have any link to the bullets found in Tupac's body. He said that a Glock was used. There was confusion around Tupac's potential murder weapon in '98. A .40 caliber Glock was found in the garden of a Compton neighborhood in '98. So what? So I guess they found .40 caliber bullets in him, I assume. First shot skinned Suge in the head. Suge in the head. Thought the motherfucker was dead. Heard stories that Suge supposedly used Tupac as a shield when the bullets started flying, but that's some bullshit. So Suge was already wounded. Tell me where the wounds were for Tupac. I don't think they'll tell me. There's a lot of information that's intentionally left out of these articles. And I don't like that. There's a lot of information that's intentionally left out. I'm going to assume it's a .40 caliber, but the thing is that there's question about things. A .40 caliber bullet of some sort. Big gun. Being shot by a big gun like that, that's painful. That's painful. We got Hanged Man that fell out. So was Tupac, question. So the question that I've got here is, was Tupac, killed by his wounds? Was he actually killed by the wounds or the damage caused by the wounds from whatever gun was used? We've got Ace of Swords and we've got Seven of Cups here. So the truth is behind a veil. It's behind a cloud. It's hard to see. You cannot see the truth. Okay. That tells me I need to dig around some more. It tells me I need to dig around. Because again, they're blocking. They're blocking it. The information has been blocked on what he was actually killed by. And I had this suspicion while I was watching. I was like, I bet he wasn't killed by his wounds. I bet he wasn't. And I'm not the type to really follow like the conspiracy theories with Tupac. No. I don't listen to rap. I do not give a shit. Sure, music's fine, whatever. I don't have anything against him. But I'm not one of those, oh, he's still alive. I don't think he's alive, honestly. Let's ask. Is Tupac still alive, please? Is he still alive and in this reality? As Tupac, as in the same body? Is he still alive and in this reality? In the same body, please? Hanged Man reversed. Interesting. He was so, okay, because this came out after, like, he was shot, right? Because remember, this came out while we were talking about what he was shot with and everything, and he was hanging on. Hanging on. Hanged Man. Now it's reversed. This says, no, he let go. No, he let go. Tupac is dead. Okay? Tupac is dead. I don't follow those conspiracy theories. Now, do I think that he was killed by his bullet wounds? I do not. I do not think he was killed by his bullet wounds. Was, Strength of Three of Pentacles. I was going to ask the question of, was he killed by his wounds? And this says that he was working his way through it. He's strong. He was working his way through it. Slowly but surely. It was going to be a slow process, a slow, detailed process, but he would have made it. He would have made it. Okay, so tell me, did Faith Evans or somebody of that sort have anything to do with adjusting his meds? Did Faith Evans or somebody of that group have anything to do with the hospital adjusting of his meds or the coma that he was in, that they had put him into? Did Faith Evans have to do with that? We've got 10 of Cups. Yes, she was. Look at that. Who created 10 of Cups? The creator with the 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups. Biggie Smalls found out who was the one who actually killed Tupac. Orlando Anderson shot him, yes. But he wasn't the one that killed him. Somebody of the Faith Evans group were associated with that. Did it. They wanted to make sure he died. They wanted to make sure. Like I said, this is like mafia crap, you know? Very much like deep underground mafia crap. And that's, you know, we're gangsters and shit like that, right? God, that's horrible. So he was not killed. He was not killed by Orlando Anderson. He was shot by Orlando Anderson. But he was killed by the hospital. On accident. It's horrible. It's horrible. Well, this is long, so I'm going to stop this from here. Please note that, you know, with the skips that you do see in here are empty spaces of me just shuffling or something, not saying anything. I'm just going to try and keep this down under an hour because that's ridiculous. So, all right. That's what I got for you today. Gonna do a couple of other interesting ones here too, upcoming. So be sure to subscribe, like, comment, please, if you have any suggestions or anything like that. And I will see you next time.